Hello, everybody, and welcome to Honey Badger Radio. My name is Brian. I'm here with Allison, and this is Maintaining Frame number 53, 27 Signs You're Absolutely an Alpha Female, or possibly just an arsehole, where we will be looking at an article from the lovely mystical Raven. That's her name? It's her website.
I doubt it.
I think it's on her birth certificate, like, legit.
Yeah, okay,
it's on her voter registration card. But yeah.
Okay, so, I like how you sort of averaged out asshole and arsehole there.
Yeah, I wasn't really sure like which one was better. So I was like, I'm just gonna say something in between.
We're just gonna wing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, doing a little improv, a little bit of whose line is it anyways?
Okay.
Sorry. Go ahead.
No, it's okay. So I just want to remind everyone that we are doing our monthly fundraiser. It's off to a little bit of a slow start, so if you are going to help out, please consider going to feedthebadger.com/support and putting a few shekels in the hat. Very much appreciated. I might consider doing some arm twisting in a bit. After we've gotten deeper into this list, as it were. But once again, if you want to make sure that we're able to continue to do this work, this very unique work, shall we say, of actually holding women accountable, and maybe not just saying everything is to blame, men are to blame for everything, either through patriarchy or because apparently they're become weak, which... I don't know. Last time I checked, men are still keeping the lights on.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm not exactly sure where the whole weak men create bad times is coming from. From where I'm sitting, they're still keeping the roads paved, keeping the sewers working, keeping the traffic lights
typical
on,
men.
keeping. Yeah, I know. Typical men.
Keeping things running.
Weak.
Maintaining society.
Things running, maintaining, so weak. Jeez. Anyway,
paving roads.
Oh, once again, because it's like you got How to Blame Men, feminist edition. Just ascribe it to the patriarchy. How to Blame Men, conservative edition. Just describe it to this amorphous weakness, and cowardice. It's like. I really doubt the guys who are saying things like, bad time, or sorry, what was it? Strong men create good times.
Yeah,
good
strong
times
men create good times.
Men.
Good times create weak men. Weak men create bad times. Bad times create strong men.
Yeah, I doubt the people who are saying that are actually the ones bringing the harvest in, or repairing a broken sewer line, or keeping working in a factory somehow. Yeah. Because if they were, they might realize,
or brewing beer. Oh, wait, men don't brew beer anymore. Women started that somehow.
Yeah, women have taken that over.
Yeah, they started it. They were the we was brewers and shit.
And it's like that whole statement. Well, okay, but men are still keeping everything running, as far as I can tell, more than ever. Because now 95% of all the industries that provide our basic standard of living are run by men.
Yeah.
Except for maybe nursing.
Yeah.
All right.
Anyway, are you finished with your opening spiel?
Yeah, okay. And if you want to support us, because let's face it, this is not a message that people like to hear. I mean, it seems like our favorite cultural sport, and around the world even, is just to be like, yeah, there's a problem. Well, let's blame men, or just use men to fix it.
Yeah.
Women can't be to blame. And it's not just because of feminism. It's also because, if women are to blame, that means that there's some aspect of the world that isn't touched by men's agency. You have to sort of concede that to women. And I've noticed that this is really, really difficult for people. It's not just difficult because, feminists are like, well, we can't judge women. It's also difficult because, once again, that means that we have to recognize that men might have a weakness or a blind spot.
Heaven forbid.
And heaven forbid.
Yeah.
Okay,
shocked.
I did.
I tell you, shocked. Well, not that shocked.
And it's like, if we do recognize that, then there's an aspect of trust that needs to be applied. And I can really understand why men are not willing to trust women at this point. But it's ultimately, I think, in the end of the day, it's an abusive dynamic. It is a dance that we've gotten into that has spiraled downward. And the only way is for somebody to be like, this sucks, but there are good things that we want to keep. And I would prefer that we keep the lights on. So let's stop this abusive dance. Let's take some responsibility. And unfortunately, I think it's going to have to be women at this point. But anyway, I wanted to thank Meredith G, because she put through $100.
Oh,
Thank
wow.
you, Meredith G.
Was that just now?
Yeah.
Thank you very much. That's really nice. Thank you.
And I should also give a shout out to Hunzi, who put in $25 over the weekend. So thank you, Hunzi.
Oh, thank you.
I'll still maybe do some arm twisting at the
Macho
hour,
Man
but let's get
approves.
into this. Let's find out this list of how you become an alpha female.
So I didn't know there was such a thing as an alpha woman, because I thought being alpha was a bad thing in general. Oh no, only when it's men. I see.
Okay, but first of all, how do you be an alpha woman without beta women? So wouldn't it be even more?
There has to be beta women as well.
Yeah, exactly. And you'd have to define what beta women are, right?
Unless it's one of those things where, you know how, like, on the whatever podcast or one of these dating podcasts where they have women on, they ask them to rate themselves, and all the women, regardless of what they look like or what personality they have, will say that they're a 10. Maybe all women are alphas. But some women embody it more overtly than others, while others keep their alphaness on the inside.
Okay, but here we go. Right here, Mystic Raven has created a list.
Raven.
Mystical Raven.
Yeah.
Mystical Raven. She can't even go for like an actual activity, like Mystic Raven, like a
maybe beta women are pick-me's.
honorific.
Maybe that's what it is.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But she can't even go for like a honorific, like a mystic. Somebody who engages in mysticism. She's just mystical.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, she's got an aura.
Yeah, but it's like it's a passive thing. She just has a passive trait rather than having pursued an active, an active discipline.
Yeah.
Meditating in a yurt for however many years.
Too much agency. People might notice.
Yeah.
So.
Beep, beep, beep. That woman is engaging. Oh no, it would be the body snatchers. That woman has agency. She's not a puppet. Okay. Let's
all right, let's get into the article. So, switching now to this.
Switching. We need switching music.
I have the sound. Anyway. So, this is a website called mysticalraven.com. I guess she writes about relationships, maybe other things. I don't know. I couldn't be bothered to look into it. And this particular article is entitled 27 Signs You're Absolutely an Alpha Female. And it's essentially a list. So let's find out what it means to be an alpha female. Here are 27 signs.
Okay, just before we get into it, I just want to point out that she has a quote from Malala.
Yeah, I was going to read that one.
Yousafzai.
A quote from Malala Yousafzai. And the quote is as follows. We should not wait for someone else to come and raise our voice. We should do it by ourselves. We should believe in ourselves. Yes, we can do it. One day you will see that all girls will be powerful. All the girls will be going to school. And it's possible only by our struggle, only when we raise our voice. I think I know who this is, Malala.
Yeah, she was shot by the Taliban for advocating for women's education. Now, let's set aside what the Taliban does to men. Because the Taliban is pretty, let's go into it a little bit.
They're not the greatest.
The Taliban is, it's not really good for boys either. Not the greatest, although you could argue that at very least the Taliban gets rid of bachabazi, which is basically the rape of underage boys, in order to make money. But And Karen, one of Karen's anecdotes is basically a underage, like a 12-year-old boy having to do
I put a picture of
bachu-bazi
her
in order
up.
to support.
I bet you guys will find it familiar because I've seen
In
her
order
before.
to support, the women in his family, that kind of thing. And they put an end to that stuff. But on the other hand, there's other, pretty significant negatives to it. They don't like women or actually men getting educated in the West, in the Western tradition. They think that women should give birth to babies and raise them in a very strict interpretation of Islam. And they think that boys should have guns in their hands and protect their women folk. So it's like a pretty traditional, and it's not great for either. It's not great for either. But, but I will give her this. She stood up for her beliefs, and despite significant pushback.
Yeah.
I wish that her beliefs were a little less exclusive of how men and boys are treated by the Taliban. But, whatever. She had her stand, and she took it, and she suffered for it.
She probably considered standing up for, everybody. But realize that if you include men, then you're actually going to get less support and sympathy.
Yeah, that's the other thing. It's entirely possible that she did stand up for everyone against the Taliban, but that part was just purged because it doesn't play as well in the West, like a lot of stuff that ends up getting purged. But my overall point is this woman's struggles have absolutely fuck all to do with mystical Raven and her life.
Yeah.
It'd be as if mystical Raven started from a quote from Harriet Tubman and then said,
I am her.
I am her. We could all be her. We could all be Harriet Tubman. We could all we could all we could all compare ourselves to the struggles of Harriet Tubman against slavery, even if we're a white, cis, het feminist from Portland. We could, I'm like, how does this work exactly? How does that work that you get to say this? This woman got shot, and you get to say, oh, I am a Malala. No, you're not. No, you aren't. Full stop. Nothing you do and nothing you say will ever get you in a position where you're facing down a gun. For one. I mean, hell, nothing you do or say, mystical Raven, is ever going to get you facing the stuff that I've faced, saying what I say. Okay, much less Malala or Harriet Tubman.
Yeah, so it's funny how they think that, like, being a loud and vocal feminist is somehow dangerous for you. Like, literally the mainstream attitude. You are part of the establishment. You realize that, right? You're not the underdog.
There's nothing brave about it. All right, let's get into it. I actually am sort of offended on behalf of not offended, but I'm just like boggling at that. To just the sheer arrogance, because it'll get ridiculous.
Yeah.
As you go. All right, let's go.
All right, let's continue. Are you a loudmouth, a feminist, an unapologetic Malala? If so, congratulations, woman. You are the strong and powerful force that makes the world go round. But also, you have no agency and you're an underdog. You're somehow both of these things. You are a god and you are an insect. All right.
Yes.
So now we'll get into the list. Here are 27 signs you are an alpha female. It's weird that it's like that number. Like, don't people normally do top 10, top 5, top 20, top 25? 27. I don't know. Is that a prime number? Maybe that's why.
Yeah, it is a prime number. I think. No, wait. No, it is.
Oh, okay.
27 is a prime
maybe
number.
That's it.
Yep.
Number 1. You know what you want to achieve today, this month, and over the next 5 years.
Okay, so if you're a woman who just goes with the flow, you're definitely not alpha.
Yeah.
Or you're just like, I take every day as it is. Like, Amelia Earhart, definitely not alpha.
Oh, God. Yeah, that's
I mean,
right.
she did work
wasn't.
towards gold, but she wasn't like, she took what came, shall we say.
Are you the type to plan? Are you the type that is cautious? Well, then you're not alpha. You have to just, well, no, you have to plan. Actually, I'm sorry. You have to know what you want at all times.
This is I think this is more like a list of the 27 things that mystical Raven thinks is awesome about herself.
Yeah, that she wants to control everything, because that's what I'm getting right off the bat. That's just number one. Okay.
Okay.
Number 2, you truly believe that hardship makes you stronger. You don't let life's challenges bring you down. Well,
okay, truly believe.
Doesn't sound
truly,
very
not
feminist,
even just believe.
But
okay, you know what? I'm pretty sure if she knew that we were criticizing her, she would call it harassment and attempt to get us knocked off the airways. So I doubt that. But maybe she's okay with criticism. Personally, I think this one is she wants to be seen this way and probably isn't.
Yeah.
Okay.
Number 3, you share your values, beliefs, and opinions, even personal ones, with confidence. None of this sounds particularly.
No, it doesn't get that bad. It's the first few is okay. I mean,
okay. No, I'm saying, but they don't really sound like alpha traits. Like, oh, you have opinions. Yeah, everybody has opinions. Everybody.
And sharing your opinion with confidence is just maybe the base level of actually being able to change people's minds.
Yeah.
Sharing your opinion with eloquence and sophistication and the ability to formulate an argument that is both compelling,
thought and consideration
on personal level and also on in terms of its evidence. That would be more of an alpha trait. Although I don't know, I'm really adversive to this alpha thing. But regardless, I mean, the first 3 are pretty bland. It's a bit of a strong emphasis on people who are control freaks.
True. Yeah.
I really doubt that she totally is down with 2, because I'm pretty sure we'll find out if she's the kind of person who uses victimhood to advance a cause. But here, you share your values, beliefs, and opinions, even personal ones, with confidence. I can't even say that. You know why?
Why?
Because last time I shared this in public in a context that I had any kind of vulnerability, I was, of course, kicked out of a convention for it. I didn't share it with confidence then. You could hear the fear in my voice.
You would think that, if this person is a feminist, she would be totally on board with people like you sharing your opinions. But obviously, it was feminists that kicked you out because they couldn't handle your opinions.
She's not the feminist who did that.
No.
But she, yeah. Well, you know what? Let's keep going. These 3 are not too bad.
Number 4, you promote, support, and encourage other women. You realize you have nothing to gain by watching them fail and everything to gain by helping them succeed.
No. Okay. No. I'm not going to support other women just because they're women.
What?
And you don't either. Like, honestly, if you're a feminist, you mostly don't support other women either. You support them if they have the same ideological basis that you do, but otherwise, you probably ignore them or actively fight them. So this is ridiculous, and it's even ridiculous even if we were talking about not an ideological stance. You just blanket support every other woman. Well, what if they don't have the skills that are necessary for the job that they're seeking?
What if they're pursuing goals that are immoral or something?
Yeah. What if they want to put a nuclear bomb in the center of the earth? What if they want to blow up the moon? What if they want to steal your cat and rape your husband? Like, you still support them? No. And this is on its face requires you to think of women as not being moral agents capable of doing bad shit.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, no. And also, what is a woman?
What is a woman? That's a good question.
What is a woman? I think it is.
What is it to you? That's what. All right.
You know what? I would be glad if the whole concept of womanhood just disappeared. And
Well,
then we
just
can't even talk about like women's rights. Everybody like, but that's transphobic.
buckle up, because I think that's where we're headed. So
yeah, you know what? Just make it all disappear. Like disappear the entire concept, theoretical, social, legal concept of womanhood. Just disappear it and see how the world changes.
I'm gonna be there to watch, and I'm gonna have my life partner.
Don't want to be transphobic.
Make some popcorn. Yeah, I wouldn't want to be not inclusive. So my counterpart.
Oh no, you can't say that. That's binary.
Oh yeah, you're right. Shit.
Your homogenous companionship unit.
That could be my dog. So I guess I'm married to both.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty inclusive. So anyway,
carbon-based companionship.
Yeah, carbon-based humanoid companionship.
Unit. Okay.
Number 5. Change is not scary to you. In fact, you find it exciting and invigorating to be faced with a new challenge. This sounds like a dating profile to me. I like change and excitement. I like supporting women. I could see that. This sounds like something on Tinder or something.
Oh god, yeah, this is a little bit bland. It's going down by some slimy tapioca. I hope there's some spice somewhere in this.
I hope
Come
so
on.
too.
Mystical Raven, could you please throw us at least a little bit of feminist spice so that we can enjoy this a bit more?
Yeah. Let's see if there are some spicier things. Okay, number 6. No, number 6 is, I'm sorry. You are not afraid to take a risk when the reward is something valuable to you. Depends on the reward, I guess. And what are you really risking? I don't know. These are just kind of empty, nothing statements.
Yeah, there's pretty empty nothing statements. We need some inspirational cat photos.
I mean, this might sound mean, but I just don't see women doing this stuff. I don't see them taking risks. I see them getting men to take risks for them, but I don't see them taking. And it depends on what counts as a risk. You mean applying for a job and maybe not getting it? No,
that's very true. That's very true. A lot of the women's lack of advancement is lack of risk taking, and also the inability to really take criticism without losing heart. And I'm facing that too, because I'm editing my story, and holy shit, it is a painful process. I think the only thing keeping me moving forward at this point is just sheer pig-headedness. Anyway, I did want to say a little bit more to number 4.
6? No,
number 4, because it just occurred to me.
You promote, support, and encourage other women?
Yes, women who say stuff like this are terrifying.
Yeah.
And the reason why is because what they actually mean is that you promote, support, and encourage me, regardless of what I do. And you don't want to be around women like that, because they are actually looking at the world in terms of personal resource acquisition. And if they don't actually recognize whether or not a woman has merit, they essentially mean that they have the merit and you should give what they want to them. And this is how I've seen it play out over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's keep going.
Number 7, numero 7. You enjoy learning from other people. You realize you're not the expert on everything.
Oh, we need a lolcat to illustrate this. I'm gonna get you some cute photos of kittens in some kind of kittens in peril, hanging in there. Kittens hanging in there.
Yeah, hang in there.
There we go.
That's the one. I remember that.
Here we go. I'm sending it to you. I just feel like this list is incomplete without this image right here.
All right, I'm getting it now.
You are receiving it. This
And
essential.
It's up.
There you go.
All right, hang in there, guys. Ladies, hang in there.
Yeah.
Okay, so back to this. I'm just looking. Okay, no. All right. So next, right? Number 8.
Here's.
You often avoid relationships because you prefer the sense of freedom and independence that your single life provides.
Okay, and now we know why her wisdom appears to be a collection of inspirational posters that you'd find in an office building.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sure. You know what? If you want to be single, all power to you. But you don't really grow as a person unless you open your life to other beings. I'm sure she's more of a cat person. I've noticed this. Like when you have to make compromises with other people, when you have to lose your freedom in order to gain companionship, and when you value that person's companionship over whatever thing that you think you're not getting by being with them, you actually have to grow up and become a better person, or a person who recognizes more than yourself.
At least
and I've noticed that that's true. That's true about having a human companion, and in many cases a canine companion, because dogs have some of the same emotional needs as humans. I don't think cats do. I mean, cats have emotional needs, but they're much clearer, and they're much more something they can live without. A cat can really bond to you and be a really close companion, or a cat can sort of be mobile furniture. I think in a lot of ways, the women who end up with cats end up with kind of the mobile furniture. They're just occupying the same space. They don't really have a relationship with the cat, even if they pet it and feed it. The cat really doesn't get a sense that they really understand it as its own independent entity. But a cat can live with that. A cat can be perfectly happy with that arrangement. Dog, I don't think, is as happy with that arrangement. And men tend to not be happy at all with that arrangement.
Yep.
So, what you've said here actually explains the first 7 entries to this list, because they don't have any really in-depth wisdom to them, and no specificity either.
I think
they seem. Go ahead.
No, it's okay.
Okay, well, I was going to say they seem to read more like what Mystical Raven thinks she's like and wants other people to see her as.
Yes, that's what I'm getting from it. I think that the cat and dog thing is interesting because dogs evolved with us from back when we were hunter-gatherers, right? Like, they'd follow us around and like eat the scraps that we left behind. And after a while, we found that they were useful, so we domesticated them. And that was like, while we were still roaming and shit. But cats came along when we started to settle, and, agriculture started happening, because cats would kill, like the various pests that would try to eat our crops. And so cats came, they joined us later than dogs, but they're also, because of the way they operated, they were really independent, so they evolved to be sort of around humans and comfortable with humans, but they maintain a certain distance, I think. And dogs can be like even needy. Not that that's a bad thing, but it's just the way that we grew up. And I wonder how much of that is, without making the case, because I'm probably wrong, but I wonder how much of that is reflected in our own differences between men and women. So. I honestly actually think there's something to be said for that, the psychology of animals. But the thing is that, like, cats I think women like this end up with cats, or they end up with those little dogs, and they're really like deranged, because they really don't know how to compromise emotionally with another being. And a cat will tolerate a person who doesn't do that, as long as they feed them and don't overtly abuse them. As long as they get their food. And the dog, if it's a small dog and it loses its fucking mind, you can still pick it up and throw it against a wall. Yeah.
That got a little dark.
A little bit.
So I think that's why they end up with animals like that. But really, honestly, as soon as I know that you are like, oh, I'm single because blah blah blah, because other people are inconvenient, I'm like, yeah, you shouldn't have a creature that can't get away from you legally, at all.
Mm-hmm.
Period. That includes a husband. That includes a dog. That includes kids. If you can't human with someone who can walk away from you, you don't deserve a life that can't. All right.
So, number 9. People, and especially other women, tend to look to you as an example or role model.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Well, I mean, I think it's kind of true because feminists have basically propagandized women to only look to other women for inspiration. And of course, the women that they're supposed to look to are the ones that they deem worthy of that. So there's nobody saying be more like this woman that holds that cares about men or holds some different position. Be more like this woman, be more like I don't know, just women that we approve of. Be more like Lizzo, be more like Cardi B, be more like Hillary Clinton, for example.
Oh boy. It comes.
What?
The spice is coming.
Oh, okay. So we'll keep going.
I'm just slowly a bit gobsmacked by the arrogance. Arrogance, but also how is it how are you simultaneously raising yourself above other women? Well, she is. Basically, she's saying, I'm the alpha woman. Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, keep going.
Number 10. You sometimes find yourself being criticized, scolded, or misunderstood for behaviors that would have been praised if you were a man.
No.
You're going to have to be specific, lady.
Yeah, you're going to have to be specific. But I have a serious doubt. But what was this about? You truly believe that hardship makes you stronger, because now you're going into you're a victim because you have had something happen to you, and your platonic ideal of the male life, you figure that wouldn't include it. You look to your platonic ideal of the male life and say, oh, but a man wouldn't. Yeah, first of all, you don't know that.
Mm-hmm.
Every time I've questioned feminists on this, they never know what the situation for men is, or even have asked men. They always refer to this platonic ideal of the male life, which includes absolutely no strife, which is absolutely goddamn ridiculous.
Yeah. Even if you ask even if you ask men, though, because men are conditioned to process their struggle differently from women, they're probably going to be unable to actually articulate whatever their issues are, because they're supposed to believe that they don't have any. So even if you ask men about their side, you might not get a right answer or a true answer, because they're going to be giving it to you from their perspective, right? I've spoken to men who have gone through issues. Here in Virginia, people seem to be the men seem to be open to talking about it. And if I tell them, they ask me what I do, and I tell them, and they become interested, but they always downplay their own suffering. If they had a divorce, if they lost their kids or whatever, they always downplay it. Yeah, well, I lost half of everything, but I kind of knew that going in that this might happen, something like that. And it's that's really traumatic, right? But it's not the same. A woman, a man reacts with more, I don't want to say stoicism, because it's more they're not even really, they haven't really processed it. For something losing, their, I don't know, their assets, or getting rejected hard by a woman, or something, anywhere on the scale. And a woman will appear more traumatized for smaller offenses, because they're, it's not because, women are weaker per se. It's because we've conditioned them to take everything that affects them in a negative way as seriously as possible, and we have conditioned men to try and resist everything that hurts them. And so they may be hurt, but they won't share it. And of course, then they'll say, well, that's toxic masculinity. Even though you did this, like you're beating it into men, and then you're blaming them for not talking about how you hurt them. And meanwhile, women are like the princess and the pea. Does that make sense?
All right.
That's my thinking, anyway.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, that's what I'm saying. I mean, and their favorite activity is to compare their life to men's.
Yeah.
Which they have no clue about because they don't really ask men, and they completely discredit men's own opinion about their lives. So they just basically are comparing their life to a made-up version of men's life. And then saying, well, men's life is better. Well, yes, because it's a made-up version of men's life. First of all, not all men are Christian Grey.
You know what's actually a really good example of what I'm getting at is circumcision. So a man who's been circumcised will defend what happened to him because he doesn't want to confront the fact that he was essentially mutilated. And but if a woman is circumcised, the fucking UN and the White House and like celebrities, they all come together and they have like something to say about it. And so the woman is made to think, oh yeah, this was actually really traumatic. Everybody's telling me that it is. It's coming from everywhere. Meanwhile, men are like, well, apparently nobody cares, so I guess it's not a big deal. You know?
Yeah, that's a point. Although in the cultures where women do practice it, they don't regard it as being like this huge imposition.
Of course, because they're conditioned, I think.
And also, there's also a bit of a catch too, because if they start to internalize all of this sort of catastrophizing about their sexuality, then they will lose what they do have, which is interesting. So it's like it is a catch-22. I mean, there's the recognition of the harm, but at the same time, there's like the obsessive expectation that they've suddenly been, I don't know, completely destroyed as a woman, and that can be a real problem for them. For women who've experienced that and don't want to lose, the sexual function that they do have. Okay, let's go to number 11. Oh god, it's
ahead?
just more.
No,
it's just 11. More inspirational cat bullshit.
Well, I'll just read it. Number 11, you are very intentional in caring for your body, mind, and soul. You undertake frequent projects, athletic training, immersion in new books and ideas, service projects to develop all three of these things. So are you saying that Lizzo is not alpha because she indulges in her weight? I mean, I'm not making a judgment, live however you want. You're the one that's saying that a woman that takes care of themselves is alpha. So Lizzo must not be alpha. I mean, I'm just saying, like.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, it's not a bad philosophy to actually read and do service and athletic training. It seems like this is just. I don't know.
Well, I think it's cherry picking because if you said to her, do you think that, like, what do you think about Lizzo? She would say that she's awesome. She wouldn't, none of this would come up because now she has to like construct her opinions based on what the response is going to be instead of her actual view. So she's going to say, oh yeah, no, she's a boss. She's girl bossing it all over the place. She's taking up space, like literally.
Yeah, when she has to exclude a woman who isn't who's on her ideological side, then the acrobatics come out. The acrobatics come out.
Yeah.
All right.
Exactly.
Okay, I just want to
go ahead.
I just want to remind everyone that we, if you want to send us a message, it's very appreciated. It's at feedthebadger.com/justthetip. And if you would like to help us out, because we haven't really received anything after Meredith G, which is very appreciated, of course, go to feedthebadger.com/support.
Please do. I will read them on the air. I'm looking at Rumble as well. Hello, Rumble Squad. Hit that Rumble button.
Rumble
Let
Squad.
us know that you're listening, and it might help us reach more people on the Rumble thing before YouTube implodes eventually. So.
Well, who knows what's going to happen with YouTube? I don't know if I really want TikTok to replace it, because there's something worse than like 30-minute videos from young feminists full of inaccuracies, but at least they're thinking, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know what the hell you're doing on TikTok.
Oh no,
You're rotting your brain out. I mean, I always, there is something worse than feminism, because at least when you're a feminist, you're actually thinking about things.
Yep.
Even if you're thinking about things through a lens.
Well.
Okay.
I don't know about thinking. That's. I don't know about that, because it's easy to say a bunch, like, these are all platitudes, honestly, and there's not like a lot of depth here. So.
Well, there's platitudes mixed in with some. A
bit of some self-reporting.
Yeah, some self-victimization, shall we say?
Yeah.
And it's like, this is a complete false accusation. You sometimes, for behaviors that would have been praised if you were a woman, you're making a false accusation here. Yeah. And you haven't even substantiated it with what behaviors.
Can you give me an example?
Yeah, so we can prove to you that you're wrong.
Because it's like, okay. Look, women are like getting more degrees. They're more successful in school. They're getting better jobs. They're getting paid more. Like, what exactly are you talking about when you say that? That you're being scolded or misunderstood for behaviors that would otherwise get a man praise. Like, what are you talking about? I mean, you could be a woman, walk into the office and slap a man on his ass and keep your job. Like, Yeah. I'm serious. Like, it's just ridiculous. All right.
Yeah. What is it? What is it that you can't do?
Yeah. I mean, what is it that men get praised for that you get scolded for? That's what I want to know. I don't think there is such a thing. I think that as far as like what men actually do get praised for, women can get more of it easier in probably every single category, with one exception, maybe the WNBA. But even then, like, they get promoted a lot, even though they don't make as much money, and they don't get like as much of an audience. Like Brittany Griner came back from Russia, and she played in a game, and she was like the most famous WNBA player, like because of what happened to her in Russia. And then they played a game, and like the stadium was less than half full. It's like, why? Well, the WNBA isn't that interesting to watch. Plus, I think a lot of people were angry at Brittany Griner too, because of what happened, and also, just like, not even women don't watch the WNBA. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's not that it's like unpopular because of sexism. It's unpopular because women don't even watch it. They're not interested. Anyway.
Okay.
Number 12. You don't apologize when you're not sorry. The integrity of your word means something to you. But what if you're wrong? You cannot be sorry and do something wrong.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like, it's about a feeling. If I don't feel sorry, I don't have to apologize.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a little bit sociopathic.
Yeah, exactly. Like, these are just like, I don't know. They're badly worded. If I'm being as charitable as possible, because when you say you don't apologize when you're not sorry, that doesn't mean that you weren't wrong. It means you don't feel wrong. That's not the same.
Yeah, and it should be you don't apologize when you haven't done. You don't apologize when you haven't done something wrong. Now that would be acceptable, but this is you don't apologize when you're not sorry. Well, okay, you could I don't know, rape someone, lady, and then be like, I'm not sorry about that.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. Like, what when teachers like rape their students, do they feel sorry? I mean, if you felt,
but if they don't,
yeah.
Like, there's this one woman who shot her son point blank, 5-year-old son, with a shotgun. And she's like, I'm not sorry. Okay. Like, so she shouldn't have to apologize? Well, I mean, really, but I think apology doesn't even cut it. But really, like, this is not the test.
Yeah.
It's not how you feel that matters with an apology. It's whether or not you're wrong.
Yep. You gotta stop framing around your feels. Number 13. You don't like to conform with those around you. As alpha woman Judy Garland wrote, always be a first-rate version of yourself and not a second-rate version of someone else. I mean, that's decent advice, but Judy Garland kind of banged the whole Rat Pack, so I don't know if that's alpha. So...
Well, maybe, I guess, in a way.
I mean, maybe. I mean, like, I don't know. Like, I just know that, you know, Frank Sinatra and the gang, they had a time. So, always be a first-rate version of yourself. I mean, yeah, that's not advice that's unique to women. So...
Yeah, but now it is, I guess.
I guess it is. List. Yeah, like if Mystical Raven doesn't tell you as a woman what you should be doing this, then like you're obviously not going to do it. Like you're not going to figure that out. What does it even mean to be a second-rate version of somebody else? You can only be a better version of yourself, or a worse version, I guess. Anyway,
you're usually okay.
What?
14. Just read 14.
Okay, number 14. You are usually asked to be the leader when given a group project.
Are you like how old are you, Mystical? Like, oh, group project.
We're gonna cut out snowflakes from construction paper. Who's gonna lead?
Like, oh, here's the thing: if you're a real leader, no one asks you to be it.
Yeah.
You just sort of do it, and then people follow. Is you know what I've seen.
Yeah, right, exactly. You're not given leadership, you earn it.
Well, you're not even just earning it. Like, often you're not even in a position where there's a metric by which you could even ascribe that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's
true.
It's the difference between being in a sandbox and the sandbox head person says, "Okay, you're in charge of making this the filling the buckets," and actually not being in a place where there's anyone higher than you in the first place. You know, that's what I'm talking about. You know, like if you're going out and you're actually doing something new, that you are leading in a way that you're not if you're just in the sandbox being directed to be the leader of filling the buckets. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Well, and it's funny how she frames this in the context of something that is already walled. And okay, bear with me because I know this is going to get strange.
It's all good.
But the way that this person thinks, she thinks like she's in a harem behind a wall, right? And she does not see what happens outside of it.
Mm-hmm.
So someone gives her leadership because she's already within something contained. Right?
Yeah.
She thinks that men's lives are this because she's never really thought about men's lives or considered them. She has no bloody clue what they are. As far as they know, they are just basically the romanticized stories that filter in from outside the wall.
Yep.
And everything is about how she feels because somebody else is taking the risks to make her life that fucking comfortable.
Yep. Yep.
All right.
Number 15. You own your sexuality.
Erotic.
You won't be pressured into doing something that you don't want to do. You won't be shamed for doing something you did want to do. You dress.
Okay, wait. What if the person you did want to do it with didn't want to do it?
Oh, I don't think that matters because.
You own your sexuality. You won't be pressured into doing anything you want, but apparently your partner, if they're like, yeah, I don't like that.
Yeah.
Because I can't even understand the context. You won't be pressured into doing something you don't want to do. You won't be shamed for doing something you did want to do. Okay, who's doing the shaming? All right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, who's doing the shaming? Are you telling me you do something to presumably your male partner, and he's like, I didn't like that, and you're like, you won't shame me.
Yeah. Yeah.
You have to submit, otherwise
now take this
you're hurting
butt plug
my feelings.
And
Now take this this homemade butt plug that I created of Bic razors. Like, what the hell is this?
Yeah.
Did you see that? It's like
Yes, I do.
Everything is about how she feels about it. I'm sorry, you're not owning the negative consequences of your sexuality there, lady. You're not allowing your partners to be like, I'm not into this, because that would be shaming. That would cause you to have a negative emotion.
Yep. And we all know that you are not allowed to feel sorry if you don't feel sorry, if it makes everything okay. So you don't apologize when you're not sorry, is what I'm saying.
If something is uncomfortable to you, that's someone else's problem. So if somebody, your sexual partner says, no, I'm not into that, that suddenly becomes their problem, that they aren't, that they're saying to you that in some situation, your sexual interest isn't acceptable. That's shaming.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so no, she doesn't own her sexuality because she does not accept the possibility that her sexuality could be negative.
Well, that's hard. That's hard.
Yeah, it's hard. That requires understanding that people exist aside from yourself.
Yep.
You think Mystic Raven would be able to mystically, at the very least, if she thinks that she has access to mystical realms, like other senses and other dimensions, but she doesn't seem to be aware that there are other minds.
Yeah.
God damn. All right. Yeah.
You get a prism and commune with it, or whatever it is you do. All right. The rest of number 15. You won't be shamed for doing something you did not want to do. You dress and conduct yourself in a way that makes you feel beautiful, comfortable, and confident. Okay, fine. I mean, like, if you feel beautiful, then maybe
in the shade of the, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, Brian, like in the lee of that gigantic, disrespect for her, like, no, I don't even want to say disrespect. I mean, here's the thing.
Disdain.
What did she say? Not disdain, contempt. Disregard. For the feelings of her sexual partners. Like, what did she say about men? Misunderstood for behaviors that would have been praised if you were a man. Yeah. Can you imagine a man saying, I won't be shamed for doing something you don't want me to do to a woman? Could you imagine? Oh my God, that is a man who's going to end up in jail. Yep. And she has the audacity to say, "Oh, when men would be praised." You think men are praised?
I'd like to tell their somebody should do a sketch of that, like, what feminists think being a man is like, and it's like, like guys are bragging about their like loudly about their sexual conquests that sound weirdly like rape, or even like overtly, and other men and cops and like, paramedics, first responders giving them high fives and shit. Like that's what they think, right? So he gets the key to the city, and then he joins local office, he becomes like president of the earth. It's like that whole, like, that's like their fever dream that they think men live in.
Yeah, like literally, this seems to be where she's going. Like, a man will be like, I don't let women shame me for doing things I want to do if they don't like it. Yep. I'm like, all right. I mean, that isn't. They keep bringing up Trump's line, "Grab them by the pussy, they let you." Mm-hmm. I mean, they let you. That's consent, right? This line is, they don't like it, they don't want you. And you are shaming them, or you're not allowing them to shame you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, and again, like, he said that one of the richest men in the world in a private environment. He didn't do it around women to make them uncomfortable. And that, I mean, like, they basically turned his life upside down based on that. Like yeah,
it's pretty thin gruel, and right here we have something.
So-called MRA types, even they were like, "Well, I think he probably did it," and I'm like, "What are you talking about? Did what?" Like, people talk shit all the time. Like,
I'm not talking about like any significant rape allegations.
No. Like, how do you fall for this?
I remember that some what was it? Reporter said, "Well, what do you think that about Trump saying that?" And I said, "Would you be okay with Hillary saying that?" I'm like, if Hillary said, "Grab him by the dick," they let me. They let you. Like, well, I mean, it's
It'd
crude.
be on the cover of her new book.
Yes. like she could. That would be the cover of her new book.
Yeah.
I grabbed him by the dick. They let me.
At least on the back cover, but probably on the front.
Yeah, but it's crude, and it's sort of like it's not something that you really. It's not a witty and lofty sentiment, shall we say?
Do
but
you
I
say
don't think that she needs to be
in private
crucified
conversations
for it.
with people? I mean, because I fucking
would
do.
you crucify her for saying that?
No, don't care. Have fun. Maybe they do let you.
At least just considering the possibility that they might not let her.
Yeah.
You know, it's in there. Grab them by the dick. They let me. Okay, well that's good, Hillary. At least you're considering the possibility that they might not. And since they do, let all power to you.
Yeah, I mean, it's so. But the thing is, like, my point is, it's so small a thing that we have had to hear about for years, and so like this is the amount of impact, that a man can have, and it's not something that actually happened as far as we know. It's talking shit. That's it. Like, men do that. See, like, men can't have the kinds of conversations that men have. Like, they called it locker room talk, right? And why do they do that? Well, because men do talk like that in locker rooms, in spaces where there's only other men. Unless, of course, a female, reporter is in the locker room with a bunch of,
and
gigantic,
conversely, women,
athletic dudes.
Women talk like this in front of other men.
Yes.
In front of men.
Exactly.
They just openly just talk about it. They don't care if it makes the man uncomfortable. Yeah. Once again, let's go back to that sentence. Just imagine, I as a man won't be shamed for doing something I want to do, even if my female partner doesn't want me to. Because I can't see a scenario where she's being shamed. I can't see a scenario where she's being shamed outside of actually doing it with someone and them saying, "I didn't want you to do that."
Yeah.
Like, where else does this work?
I mean,
this is an action in the moment. So she's talking about something that she's doing in the moment.
Yep.
The only person who's going to have an opinion upon that in the moment is going to be her partner.
Yep.
And she's basically just said,
in Scotland, a man literally can go to jail for exactly that, for talking shit about sexual conquests. If women hear it and they get upset.
Yeah. Like what is it that and that's going to come everywhere, you know that.
Oh yeah. It's going to be in Ireland and the UK next. And then Canada.
And then it's going to be in Canada, and then it's going to be in the US.
Yep.
And then women like this will still say men get praised. No, they can go to jail for the same conversation. Just like you just uncritically said this without even thinking about what you were saying.
Yep.
You absolutely should be shamed. Not shamed, but at the very least, you should understand that your partner's consent is meaningful. Like even okay, let's say she does something and her partner's like, "I'm like that." Does that qualify as shaming?
Oh yeah, sure. If she feels shamed.
Well, what if she did something and his partner was like, "I don't like that, and I think it's weird that you do."
Yeah.
Well, still the point is that you've done something that he doesn't like. And even if he's supposedly shaming you for it, it stops there. Ugh. Anyway, it's just and just to plainly say this and just hide it in there like that. Yeah. All right, let's keep going. I've beat that point to death.
Yeah.
Hopefully consensually with the point.
All right, number 16. You don't waste time chasing after people who do not show you the respect and consideration that you deserve. You are known to have a very low tolerance for that kind of BS.
Okay, how do you know you deserve respect and consideration from others?
Well, what does respect mean to her?
Who knows?
I mean, well, I can guess. I'm not ashamed to take a guess. I'm okay with being wrong if it turns out to be the case. But it seems to me that whenever you hear women talking about how they deserve respect, it's not respect. It's just abject, blind praise. Because respect is something that people, not just women, it's something that is earned. The only thing that you might would be a good idea for people to get is courtesy, but that's not respect. That's courtesy. So
people don't owe you respect or consideration aside from politeness.
Yep.
And they don't even owe you politeness. They just owe you neutrality. Okay, you don't come into the room deserving anything from anyone.
Yep. And it's not alpha to demand it. It's actually pretty weak sauce.
Yeah.
Be like, why don't you respect me? Well, you haven't earned it. Why should I? Give me a reason.
This is the infuriating thing. What do they mean when they say respect women or respect women? What are they respecting?
Them. They mean listen to them, do what they say.
What are they praising?
That's what I'm saying. What are they praising? Their existence.
You just praise the fact that you are a being? Because I guess that no longer we can't praise the boobs and the uterus because that's cis. So we're just praising the fact, oh, you identify as a woman. Praise be.
Yep.
You're not even praising. What is this? Okay, I identify as a woman. Please give me the respect and consideration that I do. But you're not doing it. Okay.
Yeah.
Do they know something we don't? They're led by a woman. What does a woman know?
Jesus. Well, what is a woman? How can you, if you have no definition of what a woman is, how can you know what a woman knows?
What do you mean a real woman?
All right. Number, let me see.
17.
Number 17. You have strong and well-developed political views. You often take political action to further causes you care about. Well, that doesn't include you, Allison. I'm sorry. Like, caring about men, that's not one of the things. You have to be mad and wear a pussy hat and rant about Roe v. Wade. Or rape culture.
Are pussy hats transphobic yet?
Is it transphobic yet?
I think they're transphobic.
This sounds kind of, because you're talking about women. Well, this whole thing started off transphobic. Shame on you.
You're right.
Yeah.
This must be a turf. Okay.
I think I'd like to be a woman. Do you remember that? Monty Python? Remember that?
Yes.
Okay.
Prescient they are.
Yeah, really. It's prophetic, in fact. All right, let me see. Has there been? No. Okay, guys, give us some love, man. Send us a super chow or, maybe support the fundraiser. Every little bit helps. And then leave us a comment. Let us know what you guys think about this list so far. If you want to look at it yourself, you can go to the link in the description. Just be warned, for some reason, this website loves ads, which is why I haven't been scrolling and just reading from the from a copy-pasted list. So, anyway, it's at feedthebadger.com/just-the-tip to send a super chow, or feedthebadger.com/support.
That's the other thing. Like, this is not... This list isn't a list that's going to make any woman's life better.
No.
In fact, I would guarantee it's the opposite. It's just a list to keep your eyeballs on there to sell you shit.
Yeah, and it's also a really good way to drive men away. Because if they see that, even though she's claiming I'm an alpha woman, an alpha bitch, or whatever, it sounds extremely high maintenance. So it's ironic because on the one hand, I'm an alpha woman. Look at all these positive qualities. But a man will look at that and say, "Why is there a list? What are you expecting from me?"
It's not even just like the high maintenance thing. Okay, my dog is winding up, so I'm gonna have to deal with that. But I just wanted, because he's a little high maintenance, he's a little high strung. It's like the dog version of a crotch rocket. But what I wanted to say to this is, it's not just high maintenance. It is, she doesn't seem to be aware that other minds exist aside from hers. If this is a person and not just an AI generated sales copy. You know?
Yeah.
Because that's actually sort of creepy. Maybe we're
I guess what I mean by
AI.
high maintenance is she strikes me as somebody that's gonna like always like compete with her man. And men don't want that.
Compete and simultaneously expect service.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that's basically somebody who, I mean, at the same time as she expects him to have the achievements necessary to compensate for all of her frailties, she will resent him and compete with him for those achievements. Which is just, it's just a recipe for misery.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. All right. You need to go deal with the dog?
Nope. Husband did it.
All right, cool.
Jonathan did it.
All right. Number 18. You have more willpower and determination than most people. You may even be accused of bulldozing others on occasion. You mean being a bitch?
Like being an ass?
What do you mean by bulldozing other? Like, you know, like you won't stand in my way, or you won't?
There's a link. Maybe we can find out.
Oh yeah. Let's see. Hold on. I will scroll down to, what is that number?
Oh, healthy relationships. Don't be a bulldozer.
Wait, don't be a bulldozer? Oh, accused of.
Yeah, this is a link.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is what she thinks she's been accused of. Have you ever met a bulldozer? I mean, a domineering personality type who tried to get their way and bulldoze over you? Have you ever been a bulldozer to someone else? I'm sure if you're like me, you can answer yes to both of these questions. Remember how it feels to be bulldozed over by another person. You feel a bit violated, disrespected, ignored, and dehumanized. It's not a very nice feeling, nor does it endear you to the person. Okay, so this is basically a unisex conversation, like a unisex blog post on not being an abusive asshole. Mm-hmm. And she is saying that that's what she's referring to. So let's put this in its proper context. You have more willpower and determination than most people. In other words, you're more willing to get violent and abusive to get what you want.
Yep.
You may even be accused of bulldozing others, so being violent and abusive towards others on occasion. All right, so this is basically, at this point, we're talking about being an arsehole.
Yeah,
incidentally, men aren't praised for that.
I mean, like, if you, like, basically, she's saying you may even be accused of bulldozing others, which is basically to say that it's undeserved.
It's illegitimate.
If someone accuses
it's illegitimate.
You. Yes.
And she's linking to something talking about don't do this.
Yes.
And it's gender neutral. It's not even pointing at men or women. It's just an article about being mindful of, being mindful of the people around you and your effect on them. No wonder she hates it. So God forbid she be aware of other people.
Yeah. But don't forget, you don't apologize when you're not sorry.
No.
And you don't like to conform around those around you. But those are good qualities. And you shouldn't accuse her of bulldozing.
Okay, lady, you don't even deserve a plant.
No, you don't. No, not even like one of those plants. It's like so easy to manage that. You know, you don't have to do anything. We need a scale.
You know, we need a scale for women that goes from you don't deserve a man. If you're not like, and the reason why I say that is if you're going to have contempt for masculinity and the male identity and what men bring to a relationship, why should you be in a relationship with one? Mm-hmm. And maybe you just don't like those things. Some people don't like chocolate. Those people are freaks and deserve to die. But, you know, that is a preference. That's okay. You just don't want it in your life. That's fine. Okay, but the problem comes when you have that level of contempt and judgment towards men. When you think things like, oh, men construct a society for their own benefit at the expense of women, and other anti-human trash, when you mostly directed at men. When you think things like men's identities are toxic or whatever else, when you behave in this way towards men, and you still want a relationship with one, therein is a problem. Like, why don't you just become a lesbian separatist and go off in your commune and live doing whatever lesbian separatists do, probably killing each other, and just leave men alone, right? Or if you just don't like masculinity because you just don't like masculinity. There's certain parts of masculinity I will never fucking understand. Like jacked up trucks. and blaring goddamn country music at 2 a.m.
Well, I guess you shouldn't come here.
Yeah, I won't ever go to Virginia.
You know, it's funny.
But,
Lindsay's more interested in getting a truck than I am. She's like, I want to get a pickup. Yeah.
Yes, that's fine. I don't understand it. I probably never will.
Yeah.
But luckily, there's all kinds of other masculinities to appreciate.
Sure.
And if you don't appreciate any of it, that's fine. Go be a lesbian, not in a lesbian separatist community, which means you're more likely to actually enjoy your life with your lesbian partner. But regardless,
You're not
I'm
killing
talking
each
about
other.
the women. And the women who have absolute contempt for men's identity, who talk about toxic masculinity and patriarchy and rape culture and all of that other jazz, which is just virulent hatred towards men's identity and masculinity and men, and yet still want a relationship with one. Just don't. Okay?
Yep.
So what I was getting at is we need a scale from you do not deserve a man, and this is just for the women who want one, but apparently have utter contempt for them, to you don't deserve a fucking plant, to maybe you don't deserve your intestinal parasites, for God's sake. I feel sorry for your tapeworm.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we need like a scale.
Oh, yeah. That
She's
not even that pet.
Not
If you
even a
if you
freaking
could call it a
tapeworm.
pet.
Yeah, you don't even deserve a tapeworm. This woman has moved past, you don't deserve a plant.
Yep.
She's starting to move into like, I feel sorry for your tapeworm territory. Okay.
Yep. I do feel sorry for your tapeworm. I don't know, like, I don't know if they really like ho-hos that much. But, and when I say ho-hos, I'm not talking about the woman. I'm talking about the snack.
Consider what this woman is likely ingesting. And the level of cortisol in her bloodstream. My God, the level of cortisol in this woman's bloodstream would fry a tapeworm.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Number 19. You don't mind spending time alone. You value and enjoy your own company.
Good, because that's all you deserve.
What?
Oh God, just get to number 20.
Some people are just like that. I don't get how that's an alpha trait. Number 20.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm like that. I can be happy by myself for periods of time.
Yeah, me too.
Number 20. You don't engage in jealousy. It doesn't suit you.
Oh, somebody's a side chick. Somebody's going after the alpha, not just a side piece, like multiple side dishes. Like the man has got a buffet plate, and she's just one item. Yeah, this is this is what I'm sensing from this.
Yeah,
it does. You don't engage in jealousy. It doesn't. Oh no, I didn't send you anything.
Okay,
don't
okay.
worry.
I thought you said you. Okay.
No, don't worry about it.
So yeah, you don't engage in jealousy. Number 21, you've been accused of being stubborn. No, you've been accused of being stubborn. It's very difficult to change your mind once it's been made up. So you're hard-headed. What if they're trying to save you from yourself? What does that even mean? I'm stubborn. That's not. How is that alpha female shit? How many women are willing to change their mind? How many women are willing to admit that they're wrong? Do you realize how hard that is? Not just for women, but for most people.
Yeah, like that's actually really that's sort of you know what's really interesting is this attitude that I've had to cultivate. And again, I'm going to just appeal to writing a story. Mm-hmm. This attitude that I've had to cultivate where I accept criticism and have a tantrum about it, integrate it, and just keep moving. Despite the fact that when you receive criticism, you feel like you're doing something stupid and dumb. And you just like, should I continue to be doing stupid and dumb things? Should I just give up and do something that's more productive? And so you have to hold on to that feeling like you're actually doing something of worth.
Yep.
While allowing that doesn't have that much worth. You know what I mean? It is a very painful situation to work through. Writing is okay. When a writer says that writing is like opening a vein, they're not fucking kidding. Yeah. If you want to write crap, it's fun. But if you actually want to write something for people, holy shit, it is a painful process.
I bet.
It is absolutely excruciating. And again, you have to be simultaneously willing to take criticism, but at the same time not let it batter you into a sense of despair. So you have to be stubborn as fuck.
Mm-hmm.
You know, honestly, I think everything that I've experienced sort of led me up to this point. Because I am a stubborn person. Like, I am bullheaded. I am sort of like, I don't try not to waste time chasing after people who don't have an interest.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, there's some aspects of this list that I am.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, as I try to take criticism, it's sometimes very difficult.
Yeah, sure, I get it. We all struggle with that, I think.
Yeah. And I try to think about how other people feel.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, me and the dog, Scipio, we've there's been some rough patches because he really is high energy, you know, and he's got these drives that are very powerful to chase and to neutralize things and to respond to stuff because he's a shepherd, and that's what they do.
Yeah.
And he's unbelievable memory for things. So sometimes it feels like it's a constant struggle with him. And, you know, yesterday I had to sit and really think about things and about how he's experiencing this. So I went into the room and he was sort of looking depressed. And he'd been having trouble eating for a bit. And I was worried about him. And I said, you know, and it was after we'd had sort of a stressful walk where literally every dog in the town was joined apeshit for some reason. And then he was like on edge. And he barked at a girl who was skipping rope. And so we were
scare her?
I don't know. Mm-hmm. Well, she stopped skipping rope and started hitting the fence. So I don't know. She's a rural girl, so maybe didn't even phase her.
Yeah, she probably.
And he was on leash.
She probably scares off coyotes or whatever you guys get up there.
Yeah, she probably has like the slingshot to scare off coyotes.
Yeah.
But and also we were going past in the alley, and someone was like a bunch of boys were plinking a used or an old refrigerator. So it's just like they're shooting it with like a BB gun. It was making a weird sound that he was making him nervous. So it was a rough day, a rough walk. And
Toxic
I knew that
masculinity, boys will be boys.
Yeah. And I knew that, well, you know, and the other thing is that rural women tend to have a higher level of masculinity and stoicism than urban women.
Yeah. No, I mean, the whole toxic masculinity thing is basically like a elite, you know, Manhattan city attitude towards, it's not just towards boys, it's towards rural people.
It's even towards like black women who tend to have more masculine traits.
Sure.
You know, and I'm not saying that as a negative, because goddamn, I wish I had that kind of musculature. Yeah.
Testicular fortitude.
Just like really well developed shoulders.
Yeah.
Like athletic black women? Holy shit.
Shoulders like Timothy Oliphant.
I think that's attractive, but I know other people might not. But anyway, so that condemnation of toxic masculinity, you know, it hits masculine women. It probably hits black women because it encourages that kind of attitude towards masculine people. And then, where was I going with this? So I was on this walk with a dog, and you know, I'm being really critical, highly critical, because I'm highly critical. Period. And he looked, and we got home, and he looked depressed on the bed, and I'm like, you know, I need to think about this from his point of view. He's trying, you know, and he doesn't understand how to act in these circumstances that I'm putting him in. So maybe he's stressed by the fact he doesn't know what he's supposed to do, and this is new. And so I'm like, you know, I'm gonna try a different tact. So I went into the room and I said, you know, you're a really good boy.
Yeah.
You're a great dog. You're a good boy. And I swear that dog, you know, the ears went back. You know, not in a negative way, but you know that way that they have when they're feeling really submissive or.
Yeah, I know.
and they want to be petted or cuddled. And his eyes just grew huge.
Oh, it's like Puss in Boots.
And just huge and sort of watery. Not watery, but like, you know what I mean? And he started to do that thing that dogs do when they get, they start to lick and try to, they go up underneath your chin against your chest.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? And they start licking your jaw. Sure. Yeah, and he's just like, I'm like, oh, it was just such an instantaneous change.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, that comes from being somebody who's got these really high standards, and I really want him to achieve these high standards, but at the same time, not paying attention to how they're affecting him, and then sitting down and thinking, okay, well, how is this affecting him? And really thinking about it, and then trying to extend myself to understand. And I don't think this person does that.
No.
All I see is justifications for not caring about others.
Yeah, and then calling that, alpha behavior, which is like, well, you don't seem to understand, like you know, like what that looks like. If
no,
basically it's like I said about men too. Like when men say that they're alpha, it's like if you have to say it, then you're not. So you like it doesn't. It's not something that you need to share with everyone. Hey, by the way, guys, did you know I'm an alpha male? The same thing with women. If you have to say it, then no, that's probably not true about you.
Well, look at it this way. Was not the dog, I mean, I hate to use the word, I really don't like using alpha beta for anything.
Yeah, I know, I don't either. I generally don't, but go ahead.
Yeah, she's using it. Yeah, but when I did that for Scipio, when I understood where he was coming from and I recognized it, and he offered that kind of, I guess, trusting submission. Does that not make me an alpha, quote unquote? And in my experience.
Yeah. Well, a good dog owner does have to act like a pack leader. Otherwise the dogs will they'll try to like be the leader. So you do have to do that, but generally it's not. That's like, I don't know, that's different. That's about ownership, I guess. Dogs do want to please their owners as long as their owners are the leaders.
Are pleasable.
Yes.
Yeah, but my overall point is that he's coming from this position and this is a really smart dog. Like insanely smart, and he's coming from a position where he's thinking he's unappreciated or he's not doing it right, and I'm telling him he is, and then he's offering, instead of that kind of guarded, when dogs are sort of guarded, and then instead he's offering me this kind of overt submissive, what they call submissive things, because I recognized how he was feeling. And I think that this woman does not really understand the nature of what it is to be a leader in a species that's highly emotional, highly cooperative, and integrated. Because I guarantee, like, if she's unable to understand how people feel or creatures feel, or that there are other minds than our own, then she's no leader.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Jojo is really smart too, just as an aside. But anyway, all right, speaking of dogs, I do have something I want to share. It's an image I think that you'll like, but I'm going to do it at the end, because we're almost at the end. All right. Let me see. You feel as though the spotlight is usually on you, whether you have asked for it or not. Ew, gross. What do you... Again, like how many people just think the spotlight is on them? What does that even mean? But like, what if you're just delusional? What if you think it, but it's not true? Like you feel as though the spotlight is usually on you suggests that you're the only person that thinks that's happening? That's just narcissism. Number 23. You are often the instigator in a new relationship. You're more comfortable pursuing a love interest than waiting for them to make the first move. As alpha woman Chimamanda Adichie wrote, quote, "Of course I am not worried about intimidating men. The type of man who will be intimidated by me is exactly the type of man I have no interest in." End quote. Well, I guess. So, I mean, like,
could you imagine if men framed the
if men
situation?
said that.
Oh yeah, so Chris wrote, "Of course I'm not worried about intimidating women. The type of woman who would be intimidated by me is exactly the type of woman I have no interest in." Like, to every woman who rejects him, you're just intimidated by me.
When women are intimidating to men, it shows their girl bossness powers.
Yeah, but
when
what
men
if
intimidate women, it's rape culture, and they should be arrested.
Okay, but like literally, could you like it must be really convenient to say that every man who rejects you is intimidated by you because you're just too awesome.
Yeah, that's right.
Every woman who rejects me is just too intimidated
wasn't that
by
in the
me.
beginning of Kung Fu Panda? My eyes, he's too awesome.
Oh God, this attitude deserves to be laughed at.
This is so cringe, man.
The beginning of this is fine. Good. If you're interested in a man, pursue him. So what? Good on you.
Yeah.
That's good. Take that agency.
Yeah.
Make an effort. But the second half is like, so if I get rejected, it's because I'm intimidating.
Yeah.
If a woman rejects me, it's because she's too intimidated by my sheer masculine. I'm just way too awesome for her.
You can't handle it.
Actually, that would be okay, I think, if it's just your way of overcoming the pain of having been rejected.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't genuinely believe it. Like, you don't think that a man is somehow immoral. Because that's the framework here. Because they're not just saying that this man is intimidated, or they're essentially saying that any man who rejects them is morally illegitimate. Mm-hmm. They're part of the bad people who are intimidated by strong women, who are bad men. It's like I can understand it. They're just like, he just doesn't appreciate my awesomeness. And I can understand if a man, she just doesn't appreciate my awesomeness. But to turn it into, he has a moral failing for rejecting me.
Mm-hmm.
No. That is definitely rapey, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
Right to jail, right away.
Yeah. I mean, and I'm starting to develop a picture of this person. If a partner makes her feel ashamed for doing something that he wasn't into, that's on him. If a man rejects her, that's also a moral failing on his part.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is not. Yeah, you're. I'm feeling sorry for your tapeworm here, lady.
Yeah.
Not only should you not be allowed to have a plant, I'm thinking that you shouldn't be allowed to have a tapeworm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good. Fair point. All right, I do have a couple super chows. So, thank you for that.
Awesome.
So an anonymous person, I don't know if you meant to not give us your name, just sent $50 and did not add any comment. So, thank you for that.
Nice.
And thank you, anonymous person. And Deadly Do Right gives us $10 and says, lifted trucks are a cultural thing. They are mainly about the ability to drive in almost any conditions or terrain. It is also a sexual signal that these guys have either disposable income, mechanical skills, or both. Plus, it's an expression of men's drive to constantly test and improve. They are trying to make a more capable machine and be able to drive it into tougher conditions and come out the other side. Thank you, Deadly Do Right. I do like trucks. Like, I didn't when I lived in Chicago because it was impractical. But now that I'm here in Virginia, pickups do look pretty appealing. Like Ford, whatever, Fords, Dodges, whatever. I do like them, but it's just not in the cards because they're expensive. So.
Yeah, and it's expensive, but also I maintain that I'm interested in something else, and that's okay.
That's right.
Not every woman has to like every expression of masculinity, just like every man doesn't have to like every woman.
Exactly. But thanks
and
for
if a woman isn't interested, a woman isn't interested in masculinity, is fine as long as she's fine with other women.
Mm-hmm.
Godspeed. People shouldn't have to do or like things they don't want to do or like But on the other hand, if you are interested in a relationship with a man, get the fucking chip off your shoulder about masculinity. And like, I'm not saying that this is a bad type of masculinity. I'm just saying that it's not the masculinity that appeals to me. That's all. And I think that's fair.
No, it's fine. I get it. I mean, it's not for everybody. Number 23. Oh, no, that was number 23. I'm sorry. Number 24. You see obstacles as stepping stones rather than as roadblocks. I mean, that's not terrible advice. Sure.
Yeah, put up the cat. Hang in there, little fluffykins.
Hang in there. That was number 24. Number 25, whether you're making a speech at an academic conference or telling a story at the company Christmas party, you know how to get and keep the attention of a crowd.
Oh, good Lord. So everybody who's afraid of making speeches need not apply.
Yeah.
All right. This is like a weird amalgamation of girl boss shit, victimization shit, inability to recognize that men have their own minds, and
kind of creepy sexual predation shit.
What you imagine might be on a list for alpha male, which often is just as cringy as this. Except the only thing that doesn't make the alpha male lists as cringy as this is because they generally don't play the victim.
Yeah.
And there's generally some kind of implicit acknowledgement that women have the right to offer or withdraw consent without being immoral.
Yeah. And also I think alpha males, like guys who claim to be alpha males, they have to demonstrate it. Otherwise they're discredited. Women don't. They can just say, like Gorlock the Destroyer, I don't know if you know, but Gorlock the Destroyer, some people might know, was on the whatever podcast, and was basically just like, I'm a 10 and it's a vibe, and like you just, if you know it, you know it. It was just a bunch of like BS sentiments. And
you know what I was thinking?
It was like, well, I guess we don't need evidence of anything. Like, you're just telling us you're amazing and men just want you. So
yeah. And if she really was like leaning into the Gorlock the Destroyer, that could be interesting.
Yeah.
Well,
maybe, I mean, it certainly would. It's like raising. It's like playing on expert or legendary.
Yeah.
It's it's like speed running on legendary difficulty. But yeah. Anyway, so those sort of claims they just seem kind of empty because no one's gonna say you need to make good on all this because they would only do that with men. That's why I think that men are less likely to make those claims. Number 25. Oh no, I already read that one. Number 26. You set very ambitious goals for yourself, and you nearly always reach them. You truly believe you can accomplish anything.
I think that if you're setting those, are you having any issues with my sound?
No, why?
Okay, because you went a little bit robo, but maybe that was just on me.
Oh,
if you're setting such ambitious goals,
but like it didn't do it since.
Okay,
it could be
if
Discord
you're setting such ambitious,
about.
Yeah, it's probably Discord fuckery. I thought we had that resolved, but whatever. Okay, so if you have these ambitious goals and you're actually achieving them, they're probably not that ambitious.
Yeah, they're probably not ambitious enough, right? That's what I was thinking.
What's really interesting is that when you listen to guys who have achieved stuff, they often talk about dealing with failure, and how to manage those kinds of negative emotions. None of that is in here.
Nope.
There's no practical information about being an achiever.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's all like self-affirmation stuff.
Well, that's the innocent stuff. That's the stuff we can put Mr. Snuffles up. The disturbing stuff is the stuff that suggests that this individual thinks it's alpha, not to regard other people as having minds. Okay, let's do this.
All right, almost done here.
Yeah.
Number 27, the last one. You find it easy to love and respect others because of the deep sense of love and respect that you have for yourself. Oh, red flag. I mean,
my
like,
fucking God.
loving yourself, okay? I know that there are people who would say, well, why shouldn't you do that? I don't think it's quite the right way to put it. I think that we should have a sense of our self-worth, right? But I don't know that when I hear people say, you know, that you should have a deep sense of love and respect for yourself, you know, it makes me make that face. like I'm starting to think that you are the most important person in your life by far. So what are you doing for anyone else? And then you say, well, it's easy for me to love other people because I love me. I don't know. I'm just saying. Maybe I'm off base, but I don't know.
God.
Yeah.
You find it easy to love and respect others because of the deep sense, and yet you don't really give a sense that people have the right to reject you, either sexually or socially. You don't give a sense that you understand that it's not you feeling sorry, but whether or not you're wrong is the issue when you should apologize.
Yep. And also you think that
it's,
you intimidate men, and that if you do, that those men are not worthy of your acknowledgement. And so how is it easy for you to love other people? Do they have to be as self-centered as you are? I bet that would actually create enemies.
I don't know. I have a doubt that this 27 really is. Because the thing is that when you allow people to affect you, you have to recognize that you might have a flaw. And that's not loving and really respecting yourself. I mean, it may be respecting yourself enough to actually change. I mean, I could have just said that, you know, I'm not the one who's doing it wrong. The dog is. You know, when I extended myself to understand that maybe the way that I was approaching it was overbearing. And he was feeling depressed because of that. I had to accept that I was flawed. How do you accept that you're flawed when you're just giving yourself universal love and respect? Now, maybe you can do that. It says your universal love and respect for yourself allow you to accept that you might not be doing the best thing that you are doing at the moment. I think that's the real question. Can you appreciate yourself while accepting your flaws? Very difficult. But if you can't, then you're not really safe to be around others because you won't be able to change to accommodate their needs. Yeah, you don't even deserve a tapeworm, lady.
No. No.
Okay.
All right, so there is like a little like denouement at the end of this.
Yeah, I'll do the denouement.
Okay. So it's another quote. Quote, after all these years as a woman hearing not thin enough, not pretty enough, not smart enough, not this enough, not that enough, almost overnight I woke up one morning and thought, I'm enough. Declared alpha female Anna Oindlen? An alpha woman knows she is enough in the face of a world that constantly tells her she isn't, and still she strives to become greater. She realizes that she alone carries the power to define herself.
Wow, those are some really superficial things that you're worried about.
Yeah, right.
Not thin enough.
That's weird that an alpha would be so worried about other people's like opinions about her.
Well, not opinions, but the difference is her effect on others versus their opinions of her. There's a difference there.
Yeah.
Right? Like if you care about how you're affecting others, you may not necessarily care too much about their opinion. Like, use an anecdote. There was a Buddhist teacher who had a student who was being very aggressive to the other students, and he would defend him and say, well, you know, you gotta give love and kindness, until one day the guy just pushed the limit, and the teacher stepped in and said, no, you can't do this anymore. This is you've been given enough chances. Now you need to leave and go.
Yeah.
And the people came to him and said, thank God you finally figured out that was an asshole. And the teacher was like, no, he's my best friend. We're friends. I care about him. And that when they talked to the man later, he said that that was the moment he realized he needed to change.
Mm-hmm.
So you can care about someone without being as concerned about their opinion of you. Conversely, you can care not a whit about someone and be very concerned about their opinion of you.
Yeah.
Because if they have a good opinion of you, then you can
or an
steal
opinion
from
that's
them.
useful. It could be a criticism.
Then you can bully them.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can steal from them. You can bully them. You can hoodwink them. You can con them. As long as their opinion of you is good, you can secretly treat them like shit. So, and everything that here is about people's opinions of these women. Thin, pretty, smart. Okay, those are opinions.
Yep.
Right? Not how these women are treating others. Not about how they're treating others. It's how they're perceived by others. So nothing about Honesty, I moral? Am I
integrity.
loyal? Am I honest? Do I have integrity? Do I act
honorable.
with care and consideration? None of that. Just how am I perceived? Do I have the qualities that give me power over another person? Like being thinner, being prettier, being smarter. So right there, they're telling you all you need to know about their essential character. It's all about how their opinion of these people, not how they affect people. Like how these women are seen, not how they affect others.
Yep.
Yeah. That's interesting.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would say that I don't care how thin you are, how pretty you are, how smart you are. I care about how well you treat others. Mm-hmm. And sometimes, we all have lapses. We all could be better about that. But do you hold yourself to a standard of understanding others and recognizing that they have feelings and thoughts that you should be concerned about or care about how you affect them?
Yep.
And maybe hold yourself to a standard of being decent. And that's not there.
Nope.
Like this is a list that is either, Mr. Stuffykins meaningless, like just pap, or it is a list that's describing a rapey, sociopathic thug.
Yes.
Con artist.
Okay, so do you have any thank yous to give? Because that's the end of the article.
Sorry.
No,
I will look.
Yeah, go ahead and check. And then I want to share this story to end it. Like we're gonna give this a really nice little chaser. And this is a doggo story. So a
pineapple chaser to swish out.
Get ready because it's cute. I mean, to me, I imagine it's awesome.
I imagine the taste of these women is sort of like that biley taste when you're sick.
Yeah.
In the back of your throat.
I know the one.
Yeah. It tastes sort of metallic-y. All right. No, I don't have any thank yous to give, but I will remind everyone that we are doing our fundraiser for the month at feedthebadger.com/support. And if you want to send us a message at any time after the show ends, it's feedthebadger.com/justthetip.
Yep.
Okay.
We have a great video that I want to do. It's a classic response video. Like we haven't done one of those in a bit. This is a feminist giving her opinion of the men's movement. So,
oh boy,
it's going to be rage inducing. Like I'll just say this. She is supportive, but we are not qualified to speak on this issue. That's basically what I get from it. So it's far more insidious than just the feminist who hates the men's movement and thinks that they're just the worst.
The first adopters, the people who have kept these issues in the public eye, people who refuse to back down and refuse to give up, fold.
Yeah.
Who stand up against significant opposition.
Yep.
To not let people ignore this stuff. We are not the ones who are qualified to speak on these issues that we care this much about.
Yep. Well, of course, yeah.
Interesting.
And the best part is that this woman claims Basically, this video comes from FEE, which is the Foundation for Economic Education, which is a libertarian source. Okay, so this is not like your typical academic leftist feminist. This is someone who claims to be, I don't think she is, but she claims to be a libertarian. So we will get into that maybe, I don't know, later in the week or something. But meanwhile, let me share this with Allison. This is a little story that I saw. It's a screenshot of a story. And here it is. So this is a service dog that received his master's degree in occupational therapy from Clarkson University after attending every class with his human. And you see him, he's got his little graduation cap and his little degree in his mouth. How good is this boy? That's what I want to know. How good is this boy? Do you see it, Allison?
I do. He is the goodest of boys.
Let me unleash the doggo. Yes. So I just want to say dogs are awesome, and this one, I don't know what his name is, but let me get a little closer here and see. He's got his accreditation. This is a more legitimate degree than most degrees.
He's got a degree in being a good boy.
Yes, he's got a doctorate in being a good boy. So anyway, I just wanted to share that. I thought you guys might find that wholesome. And I like how this guy, like the guy who's giving them out, is applauding the dog. And the dog is just like, it's just like, do I deserve this?
I'm here. The very picture of bemused modesty.
Yes, that's right. It is. All right.
Okay.
So I guess you can like take us out. PH Doggo. Some people are saying PH Doggo.
Yeah. I did my spiel. Okay. Feedthebadger.com/support to make sure we can keep bringing you. I would just, you know what? I think this is just common sense analysis.
Yeah. Well, honestly, one would think that.
It's just freaking common sense. You go through and you say, what would we think of men who say these things? Mm-hmm. And you just apply it to this list, and you realize at the end of the list, you scrape away the woman is wonderful effect, and what you're left with is a goddamn rapey, psychotic thug. And the thing is that the alpha lists for men, they don't have that level of sinisterness to them. Like the impression that women who reject men just reject them, not badly, just say no, are somehow immoral, or that a woman shouldn't be able to shame a man, whatever that means, if he does something to her sexually that she isn't interested in. I mean, because that's you read a little bit between the lines, and that's what she's saying. Or that a man should be able to bulldoze everybody around him. And be considered a boss bastard rather than an asshole, and all of this other stuff. Just strip away the woman is wonderful effect and ask yourself, how would a man be viewed if they asserted these things?
Yep.
And literally, you would say this man shouldn't be around women or dogs or cats or tapeworms. And I say yes. And now let us apply that to this woman.
Yes.
And her attitude. Anyway, so if you want to leave a comment, because it's very appreciated, a little tip, makes us feel warm and fuzzy inside, you can do that at feedthebadger.com/justthetip. Make sure that we can continue to keep this content coming, feedthebadger.com/support. All right, Brian, back to you.
All right, so if you guys like this video, please smash that like button, subscribe if you're not already subscribed, hit the bell for notifications, leave us a comment, let us know what you guys think about this. If you want to look at the original source, I don't have the dog picture, I'm afraid. If you want me to, I'll put it in the low bar if you guys really want, though. But you can read the article if you wish. It's in the description. Thank you guys so much for... forgetting. Most importantly, please share this video because sharing is caring. All right, thanks guys so much for coming on today's episode of Maintaining Frame. I'm going to go watch more Deadwood. I will talk to you all in tomorrow's news show. Have a good night, everybody.
Men's rights activists are machines, dude. Okay? They are literal machines. They are talking point machines. They are impossible to fucking deal with, especially if you have like a couple dudes who have good memory on top of that too. Holy shit, you're fucked.
Okay.
Well, that could be in the beginning. Like if you want, let me think about this. Yeah, if you can give me the audio sound, I can play that at the beginning of a show. Maybe we can like make a new intro or something, because I've been thinking about. So I've been looking at StreamYards, and one of the things about StreamYards that I think is kind of neat, although it kind of like kills OBS because you can't do both. But one of the things about StreamYards that's kind of neat is if everyone's on a camera, so that's also another thing.
StreamYards? So we go away from
if you wanted to use it, because here's there's trade-offs. Like if you switch to StreamYard, which we already have an account for, I think I set it up, I don't remember, and I was looking at the tools and stuff. If you switch to StreamYards, on the one's end, you won't need a third-party application. But on the other end, we will probably need to appear on camera as opposed to using or we could use like avatars. The other thing is, though, too, if you do StreamYards, one of the things that I think is really beneficial, that I think people who use StreamYards really enjoy, is that when people comment, okay, like we have our live chat, you can take a chat comment and you can put it on the screen and everyone can see it. So you're like taking one, like for example, in this live chat, Mike said PH Doggo. So we could put PH Doggo, his comment, it'll have his name and what he said on the screen. And of course you can do that with super chats as well. But the downside is, unless we figure out a way, because I've been thinking about how we can connect Super Chows to Streamlabs or something, so that we can share on the screen. You know, what was that?
Okay, so we would be moving away from Streamlabs OBS.
Well, I'm not saying that we need to do that. I'm just saying that I'm looking at other things. Like maybe, for example, maybe when I do the next Fireside Chat, I might try Streamlabs out because you have to be on camera anyway. But one of the things that's neat about it is that I can like switch to, like a showing a website or a video or something, and it'll automatically like reorient everything so that like the people talking will be moved to smaller boxes off to the side, or however you want to arrange it. Huh?
Okay, no, not you mean in StreamYard.
In StreamYards, yeah, in StreamYard. I mean, you can do that in here too, but you're kind of building it yourself, right? It's more like from the ground up. So again, I'm not saying that like I'm not necessarily saying we have to do it, but like we could try to at least emulate what it does. I don't know if there's a way to though. So
Jonathan's going to take a look at it, and maybe there is with. Because I know Stream.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Streamlabs OBS does tend to, if they find a feature that's good, they will incorporate it somehow.
Yeah, so that's what I was thinking. Because I guess the main thing that I think would be really cool is if, one, you could display comments, and two, if there's a way to take, like for example, right now, Restream does not have Rumble like as an actual default service. Like I have to, you have to make a custom server for it, which means that in the live chat, if anyone is typing in the live chat on YouTube or any of the other platforms, YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, or DLive, for example, then all of those chats appear in the same window. But people on Rumble that are chatting, they can't see other people's chat, and the other people can't see their chat because they're kind of like isolated. They're separated from the rest of it. So until Restream.io basically incorporates Rumble, which is going to require, I guess, Rumble to grow, but also it's going to require the people that run Restream to actually acknowledge Rumble as a thing, because I think that they don't want to, maybe, I don't know. Because it's where all the the lepers live. Oh, I gotta end the stream. God, talking.